Market is a game for 3 to 5 players, takes about 30 minutes to play, and is a dice rolling press your luck bidding game. In this game, each player takes on the role of a lovely animal going to a flea market, bidding on legendary items. Each player starts out with $24, 2 dice, and their player marker token. To begin the game, each player rolls their 2 die. The high roller becomes the agent and grabs the agent token and 3 die. They roll the 3 white die, and that determines which item goes up for sale initially. 6, 7, 8, 9. We grab the 9 token, wherever that is. Ruby slippers. That goes up for sale, and then each player proceeds to privately roll their die. By covering it up like this, they're allowed to re-roll one of their die, and that will determine the amount of money they are going to bid on the item. This player rolled a 10. This player rolled an 8, and this player rolled a 3. The highest bid goes first. The purple player here rolled 10, can buy the 9 item for 10 monies, discarding 10 monies to the pot and taking the item that was up for sale. The agent then moves clockwise, moving to the purple player, who then re-rolls 3 die, taking the item here again. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which happens to be the ruby slippers, which goes up for sale again. This time, the player who owned it goes with it. Then the other players proceed to roll their die privately, re-rolling 1 die, and the blue player does the same. Over here, red rolled a bid of 9 and blue rolled a 6, so the 9 player goes first. The 9 player can pay 9 money to buy the item, or they can pass. In this case, they're going to pass. 9 is an awful lot of money. The blue player can pick up that item for 6, so they will go ahead and do that. So they will pay 6 money, and instead of going to the bank this time, it goes to the player who owned the item. So 9 goes to this player. The agent then moves clockwise again. The blue player now rolls the white die. The white die comes up with 11, 12, and the 12 item then moves into being for sale, which is the magic carpet. This time, this opens up a spot on the table over here, so the 6 moves over here, and players then roll again to figure out what their bid is. Over time, these market spaces open up, and as items go for sale that are owned by players, they get that amount of money from the bank, in addition to the items that they sell. First player to 45 money wins the game.
Ba-da-ba.
Hello and welcome back to Gamers Remorse. Today we're checking out the game Flea Market by Mayfair
Fun.
Games. Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, gameplay, as you saw in the intro part, it's risk mitigation is really what it is by dice rolling, which is kind of interesting and novel to its own right.
Yep.
And it's a micro game, right? It's a small box game. There isn't a whole lot going on to it, but it was interesting trying to press your luck and also trying to guess what the other players were doing. What's your guys' thoughts on it?
I wasn't able to fully develop my strategy in it, but I enjoyed it to a point. There's a lot of luck as far as like you're rolling for bids and everything. I seem to get a lot of high rolls, which did not help me spend wisely.
And again, like the dice rolling takes away from some of the strategy, then choosing whether or not to make a purchase at that price adds to the strategy. I think they wanted to keep it as a simple game, so as to have a wider range of age that could play it. At one point I'm like, if different cards or tokens had special abilities.
Right.
So maybe like a mediocre number, like 18, maybe I could use that for an ability, returning it to the board.
Right, or like another re-roll bonus that you could trade in or something. Yeah.
But again, that would raise the strategy and it might make it harder for younger players.
True.
So I can understand why they didn't do that. But I had a similar problem, only the inverse of Eric, where I was rolling very low numbers. And so I'm like, I'm never going to get to buy anything. But then when I did get to buy something, it wasn't hurting me as much because I had a lower sum to spend.
Right.
And so that kind of helped me in the long run, I think. But yeah, I liked that. I like luck mitigation in general. So I liked that aspect of there is an element of luck, but then you have to try to use strategy to figure out how to do it. The hidden rolls, do I re-roll? Do I keep my roll? I found that very fascinating.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I also had that same idea about special abilities, you know? And they could have made really awesome ones on the end, so then you would try and buy those more. But it does make sense that they simplified it. And the artwork even shows how simple they're trying to make it. So.
And admittedly, they could do that as a variant. You could have variants and such.
True. Like you could have it on one side but not the other. Because
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the tokens, they're just the same thing on the other side. Speaking of artwork, what did you guys think? I know one of the draws, Eric, for you wanting to play this game was the artwork. It's so simple and fun, and it's a flea market with cute animals.
An otter with Mjolnir.
Yeah.
And it was nowhere to be found in the game.
Neither Mjolnir or the otter.
Yeah.
So angry.
No, but the artwork, I mean, it brought like a lot of recognizable symbols from pop culture and used in this little flea market, so it was really easy. I think the only thing that I really had an issue with is sometimes it was harder to decipher the numbers on the board, kind of mixed in with the flea market stands. Maybe make those a little bit bolder or something, but other than that, like the artwork was just fine. It was a cutesy kids type game, so
yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, agreed. And there were some things too, like I just enjoyed trying to figure out some references.
Right.
And some of them, it's like, is that for fun or is that really a reference? You know, and some of them I could have been altering the reference by my own. Like they kept some of them basic enough that you could read into them different ways. Like the One Ring, clearly the One Ring.
Right.
The wardrobe, I presume Narnia, but other people could have different wardrobe elements. Like I see the sled, I think Rosebud.
Right.
But other people might think of some other movies with sleds or something. So I just thought that was fun.
I did enjoy that because it was almost like, oh, we're making a flea market thing. And it's like, oh, that's cute and quaint. What if the items were epic? Legacy type items or legendary items, you know, the wings of an angel, a tricorder from Star Trek, the Holy Grail, not the Holy Grail, I'm sorry, what is that?
The Ark of the Covenant.
The Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail, the
Maltese Falcon.
Maltese Falcon, magic carpet,
the what is
the
that?
flux
capacitor.
Yeah, that stuff was hilarious.
Is this the bicycle from E.T.?
I think that's E.T.'s bike, but as I was thinking about it, like, future generations will probably be like, oh, it's a bike like in Stranger Things. Like,
Yeah.
I was thinking Wizard of Oz when she's riding that bike.
But that's what the
there's no
slippers are
basket.
from.
But there's no,
There's no basket.
And the slippers are Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the red ruby slippers there. Yeah, so
Yeah.
sidetracked.
Excalibur on 18. So, but yeah, I enjoyed it. Aside from the artwork, the components, the money I had a small problem with because the 5s are so close to the 1s, you really have to look closely at those.
Yeah.
But maybe that's the point, is you're sitting across the table from someone, you shouldn't be able to see their money, maybe? Even though we ended up putting them in different stacks, so we could
you did.
You did.
I did.
I had mine all jumbled together.
Yes, you did, and it was a mess.
Which was trying to deter you from counting it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yep.
Anyway, pacing, it seemed to go pretty quick.
Yeah.
You know?
There's not a lot of time to think.
Yeah, the one frustration we had was this little guy, which is the agent token. They have you pass to know who is the rolling player, but you also get 3 dice, which signifies who the rolling player is.
Yeah.
So unless you have one guy that's like rolling across the table, which might cause confusion, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Pacing went pretty well. Theme, we kind of talked about that. It was fairly simplistic. And what was the other one?
Replayability.
Replayability.
I mean, I think it's replayable. It's a quick enough game that you can go through it a few times.
Yeah.
I would like to see a more advanced version.
Right.
So I feel like, and again, I'm thinking as an adult, it would get dry after a while. But if different things had different abilities, that'd be kind of fun. But again, that would raise the level of difficulty.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting game as a what's the word we use for like a appetizer game?
Filler game?
A filler game, yeah.
Mhm.
It's good for a filler game. You'd maybe play it once through while waiting for people to show up. There's enough cerebral aspect to it to keep hardcore gamers interested, and simple enough that, you know, a casual gamer could pick it up and be like, oh, we're at a flea market.
Yeah.
I picked up Excalibur, yay. But it's not a game you would play more than once, probably.
Agreed.
That's disappointing.
You're not on the box?
I wanted to be an otter.
And there's no otter in the game?
There's no otter in the game.
Did you look at the otter one? Just kidding, the otter one.
The otter. Yeah, I got it, Sean. I got it.
Got it. Don't need to explain anymore.
It wasn't worth acknowledging.